that is poisoning our country, our youth.
Don't be scared. All eyes are on you.
Be the echo of people in Iran, whatever they need.
This government is as good as anything.
We shouldn't give up.
This is a process that has been happening for a long time.
We're just so proud of every person.
Good evening, awesome people. Welcome to Countdown to Freedom in Iran. This is the premiere episode of a program that myself and some incredible fellow uniters have been working diligently on to present to you. Why? Because we're doing it for the people of Iran, and we want to make sure that we continue to amplify the voices of Iranians. When we were thinking about what we can do to continue to be the loudest voice possible, we thought that we should leverage social media. We should leverage United Conquer's YouTube channel. We should leverage our team's experience in doing live streams and production. And here we are. It's January 18th, and it's an honor, it's a pleasure to be here with you alongside this incredible team at Unite and Conquer. We have a very special program lined up for you. We have an amazing guest who's been working diligently for the last 4 months, day in and day out, just a regular person who decided to make it her mission to be the loudest voice possible for her compatriots, and that is Mahsa Townsend. So stay tuned. In about 15 minutes or so, we're going to have the lovely Mahsa from California joining us. But before we really get started, we have to get started with the national anthem of Iran. So we're going to start off with A Iran. Enjoy the scenery, enjoy the beautiful song that represents our homeland, and we'll be right back.
همیشم در راه تو کی ارزشی دارد این جان ما پاینده باد خاک ایران ما ایران ای خرم بهشت من روشن از تو سرنوشت من گر آتش بارد به پیکرم جز مهرت در دل نپرورم آب و خاک و مهر تو سرشته شد گلم مهر اگر برون رود تو می شود دلم مهر تو چون شد پیشم دور از تو نیست اندیشم در راه تو کی ارزشی دارد این جان ما پاینده باد خاک ایران ما ایران ایران
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that the song, that the images gave you the goosebumps that it always gives me whenever I hear our national anthem and when I see the beautiful scenery of our motherland. Unfortunately, I've never had the honor and the privilege and the opportunity to be born in Iran. I never had a chance to live in Iran. And I hope that once we reach the freedom that we're all fighting for, I and many of you who are watching will get to go see every single square kilometer of that incredible piece of land that we call Iran and we call home. Ladies and gentlemen, the whole premise behind Countdown is to give you as much of everything in a little nutshell of 90 minutes. Everything from highlighting individuals that are doing amazing things to the current events, news, and a little bit of mindfulness, a little bit of mental health awareness, a little bit of physical health awareness, a little bit of Persian poetry, a little bit of everything. And we first start this segment with our amazing Paris Mansouri from Montreal. She's been a uniter since day one, a dear friend of mine for 15 years, and she's a journalist. She's going to be providing bite-sized segments every single week. Look how lucky I am. She's worked as a TV, radio, and print journalist and producer for over 20 years and is lending her support in producing this program as well. So without any further ado, Paris, we're on day 124. Welcome to Countdown.
Welcome to Countdown. It's day 124, like you said, and listen, there's many more days ahead. Hopefully not that many, but we will be there every step of the way.
So first of all, I appreciate you for doing everything you've been doing on behalf of all the uniters, all Iranians. We truly love and appreciate you. On Monday, this past Monday, 12,000 Iranians, they headed to the EU Parliament in Strasbourg, which was an amazing turnout, of course, to demand that the EU countries designate the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist organization. And I know you have some updates. The vote was taken today. What were the results?
Yeah, so 598 to 9 voted in favor. There were 31 abstentions. And what's going to happen next is that they're going to have to vote on it. They're going to have to take a decision on it over at the EU. The countries are going to have to take a stand. That's going to happen on Monday. So we'll be waiting, desperately waiting for good news on Monday. And just so everyone has an idea, currently the EU list of terrorist entities includes some 20 organizations. Among them are Al-Qaeda, Islamic State, Hamas, and the armed wing of Hezbollah, which is supported by Iran. And we are really, really hoping that the IRGC gets included on that list as well. And we'll know on Monday.
For sure. And I want to give a shout out to every single person that showed up in Strasbourg. I hadn't even heard about that city before this, but Iranians, they showed up, they showed out, estimated 12,000, that's amazing. So there's also in the past, like, I don't know, a day or two, a campaign that was launched to give power of attorney to Iran's exiled crown prince, Reza Pahlavi. What do we know about it?
Yeah, so this campaign was launched after an interview in Persian on Manoto TV. He was asked a question about why he's not assuming a role leading this movement. As we know, there are many players and power players working towards helping elevate the voices of Iranian and really helping this movement. So he was, point blank asked, why are you not doing anything? And his answer was, I'm looking down, so I want to make sure I don't get it wrong. He said, any kind of work we do must have a legitimate basis or some kind of power of attorney inside Iran. And basically that that statement inspired a petition. Someone started it, and we've just passed 200,000 signatories. It's important to note that signing this petition does not mean that you're supporting, the Crown Prince who's living in exile as your general representative. It's just giving him power of attorney as a representative to lead this movement from transition from clerical regime to a secular rule, and to give Iranians essentially the right and the power to have a referendum to decide their future and their fate for themselves. So the change.org petition, as I said, surpassed 200,000 signatures just about a couple of minutes ago. I'd say like 10 or 15 minutes ago. And there are a lot of prominent artists and athletes who've signed it, along with, thousands around the world.
I'll be very honest. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be freaking out, any anti-monarchists out there. And so I hope that people just kind of realize that the coalition has been built, but somebody needs to steer the ship. And he seems to be at least one of the people that the people are asking. So we'll see how that turns out. Thank you so much for the update. Now, in financial news, on January 11th, Ibrahim Raisi, the president of the Islamic Republic, tabled the draft budget for the new year, which begins March 2023. Can you share some of the notable points on that?
I wish I didn't have to share notable points on such a... Listen, the budget, considering the state the country is in, the numbers just really don't match. And hopefully our audience will gain insight on why when I state these numbers. So Reuters has reported that a source basically stating Iran Statistics Center says that inflation in the country has soared over 50%. And the same report states that over 50% of Iranians are currently living below the poverty line. So you would think the budget would address that. But let me share with you some of these numbers. And again, I'm going to look down to share these numbers with you. The budget that has been allocated for the year 2023, which is our year, Miladi, the budgets of the Intelligence Ministry and the Prisons Organization, they've seen an increase of 50%. And the budget for the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has seen an increase of 28%. And state TV and radio, which we know is fully censored and fully controlled by the state, has had a 42% increase. So those lovely numbers just definitely don't add up for the people watching on the outside.
I'm not surprised at all, unfortunately. They don't seem like people that know how to do some very good money management. They've never been able to take care of its people, and those numbers are just reflecting of that. But thank you so much for the update about that. As we know, there's an estimated more than 20,000 people that have been detained. There are some updates about certain detainees. Would love to kind of hear a little bit more about what you have on that end.
Absolutely. So again, keeping in mind that we will never have the full list. I mean, 20,000 is a rough estimate. We will never have the final numbers. As we know, there's many, many thousands of individuals who've just gone missing, who aren't being able to track, or just their families say they never came home. So they actually have no clue what's happened to these individuals. So when I share these names and this information, I just want to be really mindful of that. Nawab Ebrahimi, he was the chef who was arrested after posting a cooking video about making kotlet. He was thankfully freed on bail. To this moment, we don't know what the charges ever were that were laid against him, so really unknown. But as we know, there's sometimes often no rhyme and reason to what our government, the Islamic regime, does to its people. And it's, as a side note, we know that how they treat protesters and detainees. But while we're watching people get death sentences for protesting, an Iranian man today was confirmed that his sentence for beheading his wife and parading her beheaded head around the city, I'm sorry for being graphic, he's getting an 8-year jail sentence. 8 years.
I saw that Instagram, and it pissed me off, and I shared it. So, first of all, it's great. The person, what was his name? The one with the cutlet. You were saying his name right now?
Nawab Ebrahimi.
Nawab Ebrahimi. So, his story went pretty viral because of how insane of a story it was. But I'm assuming that it was all about these hashtags and everybody bringing awareness. So these hashtags, the social media stuff, even though some people were saying, oh no, Faidenat, it's not going to do anything, they're proving to be helpful. So what are some hashtags right now that everybody here watching can just do on Twitter or on Instagram to just make as much noise as possible? What are the most trending or need to be trending hashtags?
Right now, it's really a focus on hashtag IRGC terrorists. That's really the most important hashtag. Just when you're speaking about the topic or a related topic, make sure you're using that hashtag regardless of the platform that you're on. We are going to always continue to mention the names of Toomaj Salehi and Saman Yassin. And again, we understand there are many thousands more, and there are names that you want to highlight to us. Make sure that you tag us at Let's Unite and Conquer and let us know what hashtags you would like us to highlight. But yes, Toomaj Salehi, Saman Yassin, IRCG terrorists, and of course the mainstays, hashtag Mahsa Amini, hashtag Iran Revolution. Those are the ones that the platforms are really following, and we definitely want to keep amplifying the voices of Iranians using those hashtags.
Awesome. Well, Persian, I really appreciate you giving us these bite-sized news and info and updates. They're incredibly important. And so, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who think that your voice doesn't matter, for those of you who think that, oh, I only have like a couple hundred followers, just know that with sharing stories, with hashtags, with a small Twitter following, you're still able to do a lot. So thank you so much, Persian, and see you next Wednesday. Thank you for everything. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
So speaking of just a regular average individual that is just minding their own business, September 15th, 16th of 2022, and all of a sudden turning that regular life into one of a true overnight activist. It's my pleasure to welcome in just a moment our headlining guest this evening. She's an overnight activist who is among the most engaged members of the Iranian diaspora. It is literally impossible for you to have been following this revolution as an Iranian, especially, and just looking at people on social media and not having come across a video or something or some kind of soundbite from our guest this evening. She's been to Washington, my hometown, just last week to speak on behalf of Iranians. She regularly creates impactful content that drives important conversation, and it seems like she's just getting started. We're so happy to have her join us. Please help me virtually welcome the one, the only Mahsa Townsend. In just a moment, she's about to come on. And so, yeah, so if you're watching on YouTube right now, please help me welcome the amazing, the awesome, the badass Mahsa Townsend.
Hi guys.
Hi, Mahsa Jun. How are you?
Oh my gosh, this is my first time.
I love the shirt.
Oh, thank you. Iman John, I'm losing my voice. I've been screaming all day, so I'm sorry if I sound like a chain smoker.
Don't apologize. I know it was all for a good cause. You know, you've been coming straight from a protest, so I appreciate you squeezing us in. You've been so incredibly active. So before we even get started, on behalf of literally millions of Iranians, Mahsa Jun, thank you so much for putting your heart, your soul, your every being of just making sure that you've done everything your part, because you having that energy inside has led to such incredible impact. So thank you so much, and thank you for making time tonight. Tell us, you're coming straight from a protest, calling on Congresswoman Katie Porter to support the Mahsa Act. So let's start with that. How did it go?
It was amazing. It was amazing. We had, first of all, I want to give a shout out. There were 3 young Iranians. Iman Jan, I think they've got to be under 25. Young. These 3 kids. I can't wait till I post their pictures. They're kids. Put this entire thing together. There were a lot of people there. We had Michael Pauly from LA. We had so many people come from LA. So many people come from, we had someone drive a truck from San Diego that has Mahsa Amini's face on the side of it. I mean, it was incredible. What was most touching for me is Katie Porter is part of the Democratic Party, and almost every speaker that spoke was either a Democrat or had some relationship with them, which was amazing because it showed that we are united in our message to these politicians, that this is not just Republicans asking for it. It's that we are all collectively as an Iranian community are united and want to do everything we can to save our country and help our people.
I love it. And you actually met the man who originally introduced the Mahsa Act. Can you tell us about it and like why it's just so important in general?
Well, so a lot of these bills are actually put together by the team. And so I met the staff of Jim Banks. They're an incredible group of young men. I just met the guys, and one of them happens to be One of the people that works on his team happens to be a gentleman who was actually in Evin prison for 40 months. And that's how he knows so much about what goes on in Iran. And there was a lot of thought put together in putting the Mahsa Act, putting this bill together, why they did it, the wording of it, why it only names 2 people as far as sanctioning them, 2 most important people in their offices. There's a lot of information. In fact, I know, Gisunia, she did an incredible job last night and made a post, was so thankful for that because she reiterated kind of what we've been saying, but it comes from an expert's perspective. And she did say out of all of the bills that have been introduced, the Mahsa Act is the most important. I also want to say one of the main reasons I had the honor and the privilege to meet with Jim Banks's office is really because of the incredible work of the community. Every bill that was introduced in 2022 dies at the end of the year. So when 2022 ended, all of the bills that had been introduced died with it. And so as we go into the new year and there's a new Congress, we need to reintroduce bills that never went anywhere during the previous year. And so we kind of started this thing on social media where we said, let's keep calling Jim Banks's office till we get a hold of them and they reintroduce the bill. And through an incredible organization in Washington, D.C., Nufti, I don't know if you've heard of them.
Yeah, of course.
Kamran John gave them my number. Nufti's incredible. And so they got my number. They contacted me and somehow I finagled, to get an appointment with them. And I took my best friend and I took the next flight out the next morning because I wanted them to look at me face to face and tell me they were going to reintroduce the bill. But they gave me a lot of information I didn't have, which is a lot of these bills die in committees before they ever hit the House floor because they don't have enough bipartisan support. And so they said to me, look, California Democrats are really important. This bill is being introduced by a Republican. We need bipartisan support. We think we can get some support from other Democrats around the country, but those Democrats are going to look to Democrats in California because California has the most Iranian-American constituents. And if California signs up and co-sponsors it, that sends a message to around the country that the Iranian people and Iranian-Americans want this bill to pass. And so that's why we started with Katie Porter's office, but this maximum pressure campaign is going to make it to a politician near you.
So would you say that like the mission was accomplished, like what you were hoping to do today, like the response was exactly what you were hoping for?
The what I'm hoping for is that Congresswoman Porter decides to be one of the first Democrats to call Jim Banks's office and say, I actually spoke with another Congresswoman out of state in Connecticut. Her team said they would reach out to Jim Banks. Young Kim, who's a Republican, their team has reached out to Jim Banks. I would love for Katie Porter, for Brad Sherman, for Ted Lieu, for any well-known or any Democrat really representative to contact Jim Banks's office, or we can have Jim Banks's office contact them. That's the ultimate goal, is to get a co-sponsor from the Democratic Party. So it was great that a lot of people showed up, that the Iranian community is united, but the ultimate goal is to get support from the Democratic Party.
So what I really want to know, when you went to DC, did you go to Georgetown Cupcake? No, I'm just joking. I'm not going to ask you that question.
No, Iman, listen, the saleswoman in me, do you mind closing the store? The saleswoman in me, I said, can I buy your office lunch? Can I? And it's like, it's against.
That's not saleswoman. That's you being Iranian. You're even hosting when you're not even your own home. Chimigi, salesperson.
Yeah, they're like, that's against the law. It's against the law. I mean, I'm more likely to commit a felony, and they were like, it's against the law.
They can't accept gifts of more than $10, or something like that. But anyway, so another conversation that's important to have is the one about good old Robert Malley. What action items should we be considered as far as Mr. Malley is concerned? I know you have some thoughts about him.
I've said this before, and I think a lot of much smarter people have said this also. As long as Robert Malley has a job, the JCPOA is not dead. As long as he's around, we have a big problem. And so I think there's a lot of really like IRGC terrorist was a hashtag that a lot of people work together. Again, the power of community. And we were tweeting nonstop and it started trending, and we're going to see the results of it with the EU. I think the Iranian community needs to start another hashtag to trend, and that's to fire Robert Malley or fire Mullah Malley, whatever you guys want to call him. But as long as the special envoy to put this JCPOA together has got a job, then the deal is not dead. Although I know that Secretary Blinken, I think today said the deal is dead, but I don't believe it.
He said it, but I saw this video of him, I think it was in England with one of the representatives, UK, and like it was a 5-minute video. Montre Tavakoli, I think she's the one that sent that shared an amazing video that like has great commentary, and it's insane. You see dirty politics front and center, and how they just kind of like dance around everything, and then at the end, basically talking about diplomacy. It's like, come on, man. Like at this point, talking about diplomacy. So we'll see how he feels. Is Malley in DC?
I think so. He works for the White House. I would assume he's in DC.
I feel like you need to make another trip in DC, and we and thousands of people will join you. And what you did with Katie Porter in Irvine, we're gonna have to do it on the East Coast in DC. That's my hometown, DC. So I gotta go back.
Is it your hometown? I love DC.
Yeah, I was there for 30 years. I came down to Miami during the pandemic, so we're in Miami. But if you go to Robert Malley to say hello and give him some shirni, me and a few hundred people are gonna come join you over there too. Okay.
I think I'm the last person Robert Malley is gonna let me come give him some shirni. I'll go.
So in addition to all your political advocacy work, there is you've been frequently talking about Iranian entertainer Toomaj Salehi. He's obviously an important figure in this revolution. I mean, when you think about it, when you listen to his songs and when you watch his music videos, like if that's not a hero, I don't know what is. I mean, it's just like he literally like kind of spelled everything out about what's happening in revolution before he himself got arrested. And so what makes him stand out to you?
You know, I've been so removed from, not in a bad way, but I do think just because of the pain and tragedy that I experienced personally, or my family experienced, I was very removed from the Iranian community. I really was. I mean, I have best friends and close friends. We have close family friends, close friends of mine, but I really wasn't listening to hip hop, Persian, Iranian rap, right? That was not, this is all new to me. So Toomaj Salehi is someone that I've been introduced to for the past 4 months, but you just hear him talk, and he's just what he says about just like how at the end of the day, we're only here for a certain amount of time. And really at the end of our life, when we're laying in bed, you know, hopefully we're all old, you know, you're 100 years old and you're thinking to yourself, did I do everything I could during the time that I was alive? Like when I hear him speak, he just talk, he's so deep, and he's such an important person in this revolution and had done so much that I do think there's thousands of people that are in prison. We need to be advocating for all of them, not just the famous people. But I do think Toomaj being a leader and being kind of someone that they would target and torture more than others potentially, I really want us to advocate for his release.
I look at him as like the Persian Tupac, you know, like just so genuine about all the things that are happening in life. And I've never come across somebody that does not fear death, you know, like it's incredible. Like he literally has been willing to give up his life for a free Iran. And it's incredibly inspirational. You kind of touched on it for a second right now. You know, you say you're an overnight activist, but what inspired you to do everything that you're doing? Like, what has you like now tunnel vision?
It's just something that's set on my heart. The people that are close to me have seen me kind of go through this with other things that don't pertain to any sort of political activism. I think, every single Iranian that I talk to has some story of trauma that they've gone through to some level. My story certainly is not even close to the pain that other people have. I met a lady, a young lady today, that her dad was just a teacher during the Shah's, just a teacher. And one day they asked him to come in, and they never saw him alive again. They just said, "Oh, come in, we want to talk to you." And then they never saw their dad again. It was just, she's telling me this story with tears in her eyes, had driven from San Diego. It was so touching. So my family experienced our own set of trauma. Again, not that it compares at all in anything that others did, but my memories of Iran were not good ones. I lived there during the Iran-Iraq War. My only good memories are with my family and those little glimpses of what it felt like to be a family. And I think when I was saying goodbye to my grandmother, who I loved dearly, I didn't realize it was forever. I was 10 at the time. And so a lot of these emotions I've bottled up and have never dealt with. I still haven't dealt with. And I think what's gotten me so riled up is not really even for us. I look at the generation of our parents who were proud men, proud women, proud of where they lived. And this revolution in this regime has taken us from being so proud to I just saw it happen to my own family, that pride was almost like sucked out of them. And so this has been an opportunity to get that Iranian, someone else said this, certainly not my words, but they were like, getting that Iranian pride back. And I think that's what motivates me to really get that pride that we've lost for our parents, for our elders, for what they gave up. I shared this with you. I said, my mom's 82 and she's lived here for 31 years, but this is home to me because I've lived the majority of my life in the United States. So America is home to me. It's so sad that so many of our parents don't live at home. This is never going to be home for them. And then my heart goes out to the people that live in Iran, our brothers and sisters in Iran, these young kids, the Serenas, the Nikas, the Mohammad Mehdis, the, Majid Rezas, that just want to have a normal life like any young person does. So sorry, I go off on my...
No, I'm very curious about one thing, because here's the thing. People who've known me for many, many years, they're not surprised about the things that I'm doing. You mentioned that you've been kind of removed from the Iranian community. What was the catalyst? For example, in 2019, were you super involved? Like in 2009, were you involved? Or is this a different level? What's different this time, if at all? I don't know. I'm not assuming. Unfortunately, I didn't get to know you until a few months ago. So I'm just very curious. What was it that lit a fire inside of you?
So I've always been political. You when you ask my best friend, how did you meet Mahsa? Oh, we were arguing politics on Facebook 7 years ago. Always, I was always into politics, especially because of my parents, being Shahi, I was never, ever, I never looked at this regime as redeemable, as legitimate. Never, ever, 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 ever. And I think that's what I never thought the JCPOA was a good deal. And I'm not saying saying that to toot my own horn, but I was a minority within the Iranian diaspora. And so because I tend to have different political views, and because my views were always so against this regime, and I think everybody was against the regime, and to the credit of the people that maybe supported the JCPOA or thought about it differently, I think they might have thought that they're just as illegitimate, but they were like, hey, this will keep us out of war, right? I mean, I don't want to villainize people that thought differently than me, but I was absolutely political and spoke out during the Green movement. All of that time when Neda was shot, I remember us wearing those green bands. I remember people having like stickers on their cars. I remember that. I remember the chanting, "Obama, are you with us, or are you Obama ya bauna?" Sorry,
Yeah.
Is that what they were? Am I butchering the Farsi? But I remember all that, and I did battle and argue with people with politics. This is just the first time that, and with Mahsa Amini, I was immediately, I think if I go back to my post, I post on social media about politics all the time. So I started posting about Mahsa Amini almost instantly because I was so disgusted that they would do this to her. They would beat a woman because of hijab, the insanity of it. And I was getting angry that we weren't screaming this out of the off of every rooftop. And that kind of started catapulting. And then you realize, and then you start noticing, wow, Iranians are more united, because like even on the JCPOA, we would be arguing with amongst ourselves. Some people thought it was a good idea. Some people thought it was a bad idea. This was the first time that you're looking around, you're like, wow, we're all in agreement. I mean, I would say 99, not to mention I don't have arguments with people, but I would say 99% of Iranians, no matter what your background is, no matter what your political affiliations are, we think the same, and everyone is united that this regime is not redeemable and this regime must go. But anyway, to go back to your question, I've always been political. I just wasn't this, and it's never had this much steam either. I don't know, you know, maybe in 2009, if it had this much steam, I would be just as aggressive back then. It just never had this much steam. I
Support.
posted about, I posted about Flight 7, PS 752. I mean, all of the things that have happened, I've posted about, but it just never picked up this crazy steam before.
So I feel like one thing that you're like, you've proven to be the gold standard is the fact that you can really leverage your social media and make a lot of impact. For those people who might not have a big platform right now, what type of like advice do you have for them of like, just, you know, utilize whatever you have to kind of get the word out? Because you didn't have the big platform you had now, like 10, 12 years ago. At one point, it was a smaller platform, but you just kept on utilizing it, and here we are, you know, with a much bigger platform. But what can you suggest to those that they're not posting because they think that, oh, I don't have a big enough of a voice?
You know, I am much more, I forgive, or like I can look at, I can look sympathetically to those that have, because I have friends who just had a baby or have really small children, or, you know, yes, would I love every single person to be beating on their chest the same way? Yes, that would be amazing. But I am much more sympathetic to like a young mom who just had a baby, who maybe psychologically is going through a lot, and this might not be at the forefront because of, you know how they say, put the oxygen mask on your own face first before you can put it on your children. So I'm a lot more sympathetic. Some people have had terrible experiences with their families and, you know, politics and with this regime, and so they might be afraid. The people I don't forgive. So if you have a small platform and you talk about it, if you have a small platform and all you do is send emails to politicians, if you have a small platform and you make a post here and there, that's enough. That is, every little bit makes this huge ocean. So do as much as your heart tells you. Sometimes it's going to be more, sometimes it's going to be less. Whether you have 10 followers or 30 followers or 5 million followers, your voice is important and people should listen to you. But the people I don't forgive, and I say it publicly because I want to show that I'm not afraid. I'm a nobody in the sense that like my platform is so small compared to bigger platforms. But the people I don't forgive are Iranian-Americans that are powerful, that have money, that have influence, that have power, that have platform.
Uber. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. And are not using it to help. You know, we have Nazanin Noor, God bless her. She's an actress. She's doing a phenomenal job. Spoke at the UN. Incredible. We watch her with so much pride. We have Ali Karimi, like a national hero, but an athlete, again, coming from Iran, doing a phenomenal job. We have all of these people. We have Shahzadeh Raza Pahlavi. We have Hamid Ismailian in Canada. We have all of everyone is doing their part. But Hamid Ismailian is a dentist, right? Imagine, or by trade he was. I don't want to, but what I'm saying, not discounting him. What I'm saying is we have Silicon Valley has so much power. This government is run by those corporations, right? You bet your bottom dollar, Dara running a $58 billion company can pick up the phone and get anyone he wants on the phone to talk about anything that he wants. And so this notion that like, oh, you know, I don't have it.
I don't have operations in Iran. That was the worst interview I've seen in a long time. It was painful to watch.
I feel like the purpose I serve in this revolution is I know the things that I say are polarizing. I know the things that I say are not politically correct, but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be said. They're the truth and they need to be said. And I don't mind saying it because after this revolution is successful, I'm going to go back to my boring, to other people might be boring, but back to my life where I'm a mother, I have children. I want to go back to doing what I want to do. So I'm not worried that I'm not going to get that gig because I called out Dara Khosrowshahi. I'm not looking. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, you know, you mentioned how you have some sympathy for people that might have like children or they're dealing with other family issues. You yourself are a mother of 3, husband, a wife to Kevin. How can I just kind of get a little personal here and just ask you, like, how are you doing? How are you feeling? How are you juggling motherhood, being a wife, being this overnight activist? Like you told me a couple of days ago when we spoke that like you don't really like cry too much. You don't get too emotional. How does that build up inside of you? Like, how are you dealing with all that?
Well, I said I wasn't very deep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I cry a lot. I'm just not that deep. You know, how am I juggling? There's no balance in my life. There's no balance at all. And that's going to make me emotional because I have not been available to my family. Not emotionally, not physically. I haven't been. I've been, you know, today I picked up my daughter. She was with my husband and she needed to come back for a class. So he said, can you pick her up on your way home? And she walks up to the car and then she was excited to see me. She was about to say something. And then she's only 7 and she realized I'm on the phone and she goes, oh, you're on the phone. And, it killed me. And I immediately said, let me call you back. And I hung up. But I'm not balanced right now. I'm not juggling it. I'm not doing a good job. It's very imbalanced. And I'm working on it. But my husband, I'm married to the most incredible human being I can have ever, for all the wrong I've ever done in my life. This is probably the best. This is the best person that I've ever met in my life. And he really is holding down the fort. We don't have a nanny. We are always with our kids and he's really holding down the fort. And I'm very thankful to him. تقصیرشه دیگه آمریکایی کار کرد.
I mean, it seems like he's got you know, he's fully supporting you, and that's kind of like what you need in times like this, you know. So that just goes to it's a testament to your relationship. So good for him for being so supportive and by your side, and like you said, holding down the fort, because a lot of people are so knee deep in what they're doing here that unfortunately that's kind of the collateral damage. But like it's really hard to hold back somebody like a Mahsa Townsend, you know. And like I to a certain degree I can relate, because I've unfortunately had to not be as available either. It's not intentional, but it's almost like you feel like you cannot not do something. At least that's how I feel. Like it's an internal fight that I'm having every day. Like I want to be better, I want to be more available, but this fight is just too important. And it's not, it doesn't mean that they're not important. It's just that I just feel like it's a calling. It really is.
It's a calling. And then I think for my kids, I hope that they realize that at some point it'll be their turn to stand up for what's right. And that might not always be comfortable. And, you know, they say you can tell your kids a lot of things, but they learn by watching you. So I'm hoping that when they grow up, if they ever have the opportunity to speak out against injustice, they will. You know, I just had a really good conversation with one of my friends during the BLM movement. I was absolutely, I don't think there was anyone that I know that was not disgusted by George Floyd dying the way he did. No one. I mean, why the hell are you on his back? Why do you even need get off of him? He's handcuffed. You know, I think I probably would have gotten shot or arrested if I were there, because I would have been screaming my head off, get off of him. But at that time, I didn't I posted about it, and I posted about various things, but I was just having dinner with one of my girlfriends who's of African-American descent. And I'm looking at her in her eyes, and she's a dear friend of mine. We argue politics. We argue a lot of stuff. We have this deep relationship. And I looked at her in her eyes and I said, I didn't feel your pain. I didn't understand it like I do today. Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't understand why you guys were so angry. Like, it was like, well, gosh, the cop is arrested. He's going to, like, I did, it was, and I just, and we both had tears in our eyes. And I was like, I didn't get it. Like I supported it. I supported her, but I didn't feel it in my being. And I think this has been such a great awakening in that way, where I feel that when you hear about someone, you know, these young kids, young.
I mean, they feel like it's family members. Like when you see an Iranian face, it's you should care about it for everybody, of course. But really, when it's your own people, it cuts different. It's like a whole different layer. So, but yes, I mean, it's a different level of empathy that you gain when it happens to your own people. So you mentioned the word calling, and I want to close off on this because there's calling, but then what is your big picture once this revolution is done? Like, what is something that you look, because it's happening. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. What's your big picture of this? Like, what do you hope to accomplish, or what do you want to happen when this revolution comes to a conclusion?
You know, what I think makes this country great, and I know it's become so polarizing over the past decade or so between, you know, opposing viewpoints, that you think, oh, someone doesn't agree with me, they're evil. They're evil. And I think that mindset is what got us to where we are with the Islamic Republic. That we have to be willing. When I look at the US, when I met with Jim Banks's office, at the same time, there's a representative or a staff member from a Democrat congressman's office. We're all sitting at the table talking. And you see, this side might say one thing, this side says another thing, and they're having a very respectable conversation. We're all debating of what is the right thing to do, what bill will be better, who should introduce it, so on and so forth. And you see this and it's this little tug of war where we don't end up right, we don't end up left, we end up somewhere in the middle. And I hope, you know, my future is not, you know, my husband's American, my kids are, this is home. What I hope to do is help continue that democracy, that we shouldn't hate each other because we have a different perspective. We need to talk. You know, the future of Iran is going to have different people of different faiths, you know, Muslim, Jewish, Christian, Baha'i. We don't talk enough about the pain that the Baha'i community has endured during the past 44 years for no reason other than being who they are. We don't talk about that, but that we are going to have all of these different cultures and religious backgrounds, and we need to work together. We cannot say, you know, obviously there's minorities. I'm not saying, you know, be inclusive of everybody. But I'm saying it's a melting pot, and the United States just goes by what the majority is. I don't know if I'm getting this message across, but I feel like with our culture, it's very much like this guy's right, this guy's wrong. We need debate is healthy. Disagreeing is healthy. It's a good thing. And we need to kind of change that within our culture, that it's okay for you to break bread with me, even though I'm a Republican. I'm a mother, I'm a wife. I'm not what you want to pick. My motives are not bad. I'm just looking at the same thing from a different perspective. And you might be a Democrat or a liberal. You're a good person. You might just want to attack the problem at hand differently. But us talking together and working together is for the greater good. And so I just hope that ultimately, I hope that somehow we can be more connected and more united, and
a free and diverse Iran, you know, that everyone is represented, everyone's respected. That would be a beautiful Iran to go visit for sure. And I'm sure your mom will enjoy going with you back home, because she's been wanting to go back to her home, just like everyone deserves to go back to their home. Mahsa John, it was a true pleasure having this conversation with you, and I hope that people that may not have been following you so far and that haven't gotten to know you as an individual, as a person, as a mother, as a wife, that they got an opportunity to get to know why you do what you do. And I know that in what you do, it comes with a lot of negativity. I just want to humbly tell you, continue to stay strong. I don't even have to tell you, because I think that's just your natural default, you know. But if you ever feel down, know that 99.9% of fellow Iranians push the Hassan, and we're going to continue to root for you, because you're doing incredible waves for us that is going to lead to the whole revolution coming to an end. So thank you, but make sure to spend time with your family and children as much as you can, so you get that balance, and I'll learn from it too.
I will. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for inviting me to be in your show.
به امید آزادی. Take care, Mahsa John. Say hi to the family. شب بخیر.
Bye. Bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was wonderful. I'm eternally grateful for Mahsa John to make the time that she did to join us this evening. I hope that you got to know her a little bit better. Please make sure to drop some comments in the chat. Thank you for being here. Follow her at Mahsa, I believe it's Mahsa_Townsend. You will not be disappointed to follow her, because she is 100% grit, heart, soul, and 100% fighting for the people inside of Iran, not caring about anybody else's opinion, solely about what's in the best interest of the freedom fighters of Iran. So, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you've been enjoying the program so far. If you have any feedback, do not be shy. This is our first program. In case you're just joining, this is the premiere episode of Countdown to Freedom in Iran. We are doing this every single Wednesday night. The only reason this is possible is due to some incredible fellow uniters here at Unite and Conquer. They're all over here, some upstairs, some having champagne. We're just happy to have this little community that we can come together every Wednesday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern, to talk about what's happening in Iran. One of the reasons why I personally wanted to do this and why I had the Awesome People podcast is because I felt there was never a home for people like myself who perhaps don't speak Persian very fluently, can't read or write Persian fluently. And we wanted to have a home where we get to know other fellow Iranians. And so I'm just glad that the silver lining of this revolution is that we get to put together this amazing community, and that you're joining the Unite and Conquer family in some shape or form, and that you're hopefully getting some value in just meeting other people in the chats and just getting to know guests like Mahsa Townsend. So up next, we're having one of our segments. It's Our Mindful Moment. It's with Dr. Shiva Jahani. Shiva Jahani is one of our amazing uniters here at Unite and Conquer. She's from Orlando. She is Dr. Shiva Jahani is a professor in the College of Communication, Innovation, and Education at the University of Central Florida. For the past 10 plus years, she has taught courses on yoga, meditation, and research. And you know that especially in the crazy life that we're living right now, these type of things have proven to be so impactful to kind of give that balance that Mahsa needs back in her life just as much as I do, just as much as many of you do. She specializes in research methodologies and has co-published 3 books on the subject, in addition to co-authoring published studies on meditation. She's also currently researching how to improve well-being and quality of life. She's a Deepak Chopra Center certified practitioner and teacher of meditation and certified in sound healing by the Vibrational Sound Association, Breathwork, Breath and Body Therapy Institute, and yoga from the Asian Union of Yoga. Needless to say, she knows her stuff and she knows how to bring balance into our lives. I can't tell you how many times during our Uniter Zooms, she has brought us calm, serenity, peace. She's nothing but love. And therefore, I want you all to put your virtual hands together for the lovely, the wonderful Dr. Shiva Jahani. All right, there we go. I can't see the chats right now, but hopefully you're showing you some love. Shiva Jun, how are you, Aziz?
Hello.
There you go. Durud bar shoma.
Namaste. Thanks for having me, Marjan.
It's so wonderful to have you. So listen, this revolution, it's forcing us to have intense and emotional conversations. We literally just had one with Mahsa John, who's just been so incredibly active. Let's just get right into it. How can we regulate our feelings, considering many of us may be feeling constantly tense and on edge? I know that way too well.
Let me answer your question with a question. How are you feeling?
Well, to be honest, at this moment, I'm very grateful. You know, it's been a stressful couple of days. As you know, we've all been working hard to make sure that this program is something that other Iranians and perhaps non-Iranians can get something out of. So definitely stress level high, but now I'm at the mindful moment of the program and I'm talking to you. So to be honest, right now I'm good.
Great. That was you answering my question to your question, because answer is, mindfulness. So mindfulness, is answer to that question, and also practice meditation, practice mindfulness meditation, and just for 20 seconds, for 1 minute, 5 minutes. So just do it, and being aware of your feeling and observe your feeling will help you to reduce your anxiety, stress, and promote your happiness, as you say, because now you're aware. The awareness is the first step. So I'm going to just introduce the stop techniques, for people really are, stressing out, and especially, as you say, in intense and emotional conversation. What do we need to do is stop techniques. Then stop technique is the S, it's like a stop acronym, stands for like S, pause, and stop. Then T stands for take a few deep breaths, and O, observe our feeling and our thoughts, and P, proceed. So that's so simple, because meditation is simple, and available to all, but we only have to understand it really benefiting us, and immediate benefit, for short term and long term. We have to be aware, pay attention, and listen. So listening is meditation, observing is meditation, and seeing our feeling and observing our feeling, that help us to respond, to our emotions in better way, and also make ourselves as a better version of ourselves. So that's, the answer is always a meditation, and do it, practice, just 20 seconds, just pause, do nothing, think nothing. And then after that, when you observe your feeling and understand that you are not your feeling, that you are not your emotions, you're good, because then you know what to do with them. It's okay, let me talk to my friend. Let me have a cup of tea, coffee, because you are, aware of what's going on in and out of yourself. So that's the, the way we can deal with our emotions and our thoughts, because really we are not our emotions and our thoughts. That happen in that situation that we are reacting. So if we know how to respond, then we are not stressing out that much.
I love it. And so now let's say, for example, we're going through some pain. Can you explain what it means to breathe through pain?
Yeah, so good question. Yeah, first of all, our breath is so powerful. It's very powerful. And we can have access to it, just pay attention to our breath will help us to go through that. Because our breath is remote control out of our nervous system. So it helps our nervous system to calm down, and we just slowly we are controlling our thoughts, because our body get signal that everything is okay, and we good. So that's the way, because as we are changing the pattern of our breath and longer, deeper, slower, nicer, then we are shifting state of our mind, and then we are calming our nervous system. And we just that moment we are feeling like, okay, nothing is just important than this moment that I have, and this is like I'm fully present. I'm with this moment. I'm not past. I'm not future, because that past, future is not coming. So I'm with this moment, and you are benefiting of this moment, and you're not stressing out of that, because you are realizing, and this is awareness, because you're aware of your situation, you are aware of your pain, you are accepting that, and you're going to do something with that. You are not going to deny it. So this is like, not to deny and then accept and do something.
So can we go ahead and try one of these little breathing techniques right now and see how we can put it into action? And for those of you who are watching, why don't you just kind of join, listen to Shiva Jun's smooth, soulful voice, and let's do this.
Sure, good. So first of all, and one thing that Iman Jan and I have to say to everyone, then meditation is so simple, and we only need two things: find a comfortable place or spot and close your eyes if you feel safe. That's it. That's what we need. And then pay attention to our breath and the rhythm of our breath. So sit comfortably, and hands placed on our legs, inviting your jaw to relax. Drop down your shoulders, relax your shoulders, relax your hands, your belly. Take a moment, a few seconds, to check in your body. How does it feel? Take a few deep breaths. If you're ready, slowly close your eyes. Continue with deep inhale and deep exhale. Inhale love, exhale peace. Inhale love, exhale peace. Pay close attention to where you feel the breath: nose, chest, belly. You may notice your mind wandering. Simply notice it and come back to your breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in love, breathe out peace. Breathe in love, breathe out peace. Long, deep, slow. Now check your feeling. How do you feel? Reflect on yourself and ask yourself, how can I comfort myself as my best friend? And mentally repeat, I'm doing the best. I'm good enough. I'm peace. I'm love. Take a few deep breaths. Big inhale. Let it go and drop your shoulders. Inhale and exhale. Whenever you're ready, bring your hands together to your heart and open your eyes. And namaste.
Namaste.
I hope
All
you
right.
enjoyed it.
I did enjoy it. I fell asleep. You took me to that trancy level. I appreciate that. No, it's amazing. It's amazing. I don't honestly I don't do meditation or breath work that often, but every time that I've tried it, I can actually say that like I felt more relaxed. So I should really give myself to actually get more consistent. So hopefully this mindful moment with you will be the catalyst of me getting into this more often.
I hope so. Sending love and hugs to you and all of your people who are watching us now, and also sending love to all of our Iranian, and sending them the comfort and and
Thank
wishing
you.
them peace and love, and I hope Bomid Azadi.
Azadi. Shiva, thank you so much for everything you do as a uniter. You do so much down south in Orlando too. The Orlando community is very lucky to have individuals like you that are so actively involved and bringing them comfort, peace, love, whatever it is that they need. If they come to you, you've always welcomed them with open arms. And I know that all of us uniters, we really appreciate what you bring to our community. So looking forward to seeing you in upcoming segments. And thank you for being one of the awesome producers of this program.
Same. Thank you. Thank you.
Shab bakhair. Take care. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope some of you who may not normally be doing any kind of meditation or breath work, that this was a good introduction and some type of thing that you consider maybe integrating into your daily life, especially if you're operating at high level of stress, anxiety, perhaps depression. It's always good to kind of explore different things and see what works best for you. Either way, appreciate Shiva Jan for doing what she's doing. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, this next guest I've actually known for quite a long time. It is actually my mother, and I'm just waiting for her to get into the room. So if the producers are listening, please make sure that she's about to come on while I do this introduction. So I wanted to make sure that there's a Persian poetic element infused into our programming. Why? Well, because we're proud Iranians, and we want to make sure that we wanted to make sure that a cultural element is integrated. And my mom, as she will explain to her as well, she's not a poet. She's actually on the side. She's been a officiant at Persian weddings for the last 6-7 years. It was more because I wanted her to be a part of the weddings that we were doing at Exclusive Entertainment, and she just loved to share her love for love and marriage with younger couples. And so I was fortunate enough to work with her on many weddings around the world, especially in the DC area. And I asked her to be a part of this program in some shape or form that she's comfortable with. And in a couple of the protests that we did in South Florida, she was actually doing like a little impromptu type of poetry and messaging. And so I'm gonna let her tell you what she had in store for you for today. I hope you enjoy it. So without any further ado, Mahin Huschmand, proud to have her on here as my mother. Mother John, خانم هوشمند، خوش آمدین به برنامه Countdown to Freedom in Iran. Welcome, Mahin Jun. She should be coming on in 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1, after this little teaser. Are we good to bring her on? All right. سلام عرض میکنم. درود بر شما. تو لگده درود بر شما خانم هوشمند.
درود بر شما.
خوب هستی ماهی جان؟ خیلی ممنون که اومده اینجا. It was a little delay to get you on. صدای من میرسه؟
ممنون از اینکه این فرصت رو به من دادی و درود به همه بینندگان شما.
Thank you. So this is actually going to be the only segment of this whole program that is not going to be in English because Persian poetry just doesn't sit well when it's translated. So ماهی جان من میدونم خودت میخواستی که این شعر رو شروع بکنی. خوشحال هستیم که بشنویم. So enjoy, ladies and gentlemen.
اولا که من بگم من نه شاعرم نه نویسنده. در این بره زمانی هر ایرانی به یک نوعی اندوهش و غمش و غضبش رو ابراز میکنه به طرق مختلف، با دمونستراسیون، با فریاد زدن، با ایمیل زدن، با سوشال میدیا یه کاری انجام میده. منم یه چیزی رو نوشتم و مینویسم و یه قسمت رو برای شما میخونم به دلیل اینکه خیلی اعتقاد دارم که ما الان چیزی که بیشتر از همه احتیاج داریم امیده به اون چیزی که در راه هست. و من از حالا میتونم بگم که کبوتر آزادی به روی سر ایران عزیز نشسته و من نور آزادی را میبینم. من یک مادر سرزمین ایرانم و روی سخنم با جوانان دلیر ایران است. من نور آزادی را میبینم. امشب ستارگان در آسمان چراغ‌ها را روشن کردند و به پیشواز جشن مجلل و با شکوهی می‌روند. جشن آزادی. خورشید گرمایش را به سرزمین ایران میتابد. قرص ماه آرام آرام از پشت ابرها پیدا می شود. باران رحمت به سرزمین داغدار ما می بارد. بلبلان سرود آزادی را می سرایند و سرود آزادی در کوی و برزن ایران ابدی خواهد شد. پژواک رودخانه ها با شعف و شادی همراه است. من نور آزادی را می بینم. فرشتگان رقص کنان غل و زنجیر را از دست شما می گشایند. شما دیگر میله های زندان را نخواهید دید. درهای زندان پر ابد مهرموم خواهد شد. دیوارهای زندان دیگر شاهد رنج و عذاب و شکنجه شما نخواهند. طناب دار دیگر قدرت حلقه شدن به گردنهای زیبا و معصوم شما را نخواهد داشت. پدران و مادران دیگر وحشت از دست دادن فرزندان دلبندشان را نخواهند داشت. من نور آزادی را می‌بینم. مهسا و دوستانش راه آزادی را برای شما هموار کردند. به زودی شما دست در دست به دنیای زیبای آزادی قدم خواهید گذاشت. درهای زندان گشوده خواهد شد و ما به پای یکایک شما گلهای عشق افشان خواهیم کرد. من نور آزادی را می‌بینم. زن، زندگی، آزادی.
خیلی ممنون. Thank you so much, Mom. I appreciate these words. For those who don't know, when the sentence that goes "Man nur azadi ra mibinam" is basically saying that I see the light of freedom. Beautiful words. Thank you so much, Mom. I have to ask you, Mom, and you can answer in Persian. Why does what's happening right now mean so much to you? Like how much would it mean to see a free Iran?
امید ما به این آزادی بسیار زیاده، برای اینکه این بار از همه جهت متفاوته و من فکر میکنم که تمام ایرانیا در این راه در حال قدم برداشتن هستن، برای اینکه ایرانیا خودشونو مدیون میدونن، یعنی فکر میکنن وظیفه‌شونه، چون خودشون این مملکت رو به اینجا رسوندن و خودشون هم به دست خودشون دارن ترمیم میکنن درست میشه به امید آزادی.
If you go to my last question, when Iran is free and you go back to Iran, what's the first thing you're going to do when you go to Iran? Because you haven't been back in 43 years.
What are you going to do that or
اولین کاری که میکنی وقتی بری برگردی به ایران what would it be? Have you thought about that?
Yes, I will go and see my father.
Well, hopefully I'll join you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing that. Merci, Maja. I would love to go see. Well, I did go see my grandfather there 21 years ago, but and I hope to go see him with you very soon. I have a feeling it's going to happen Hamid Emsal in 2023. Maja, I look forward to your weekly programs. Please continue to support this program with your love, with your kindness.
My pleasure.
And with the beautiful poetry that you've come up with. Shab Bekhair.
Shab Bekhair.
All right. So that was, ladies and gentlemen, the Persian poetry pause. I wasn't expecting that answer, so it got me all emotional. But this is what this regime has done to us. You know, it has led to so much trauma and suffering for our parents and for our grandparents. And this is exactly why we're doing this fight, is because, you know, they've gone through so much, and we hope that we bring them the freedom that they deserve as well, to experience a free Iran. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so every program we're hoping to have as many sponsors that could, in some shape or form, support this program. And in just a couple of minutes, I'm going to be introducing one of the ultimate sponsors of this program, this particular episode, and it is Hamid Shirdel from Kababi Cafe, which is a staple restaurant here in South Florida. I remember when I came 15, 20 years ago or so, it was Kulak at the time, and so I was there, and Ali Shirdel, which I believe is his nephew, he was part of a Dima band, so I have some connection with the Shirdels back then, and now that I'm living in Miami, I know just how important of an establishment that Kababi Cafe is. And I'm grateful for their support for this program. I'm also very grateful for the support of Signs Are Us, Shalai Kosari, and this background that you see was donated by them. She worked tirelessly with her team to create a nice collage. And, you know, it means a lot to have the support of these businesses and these individuals, as well as Max Mozoon from Mozoon Inc. It means a lot. So if any of you are interested in sponsoring any of these programs, we want to continue to support you and your business as you continue to support Countdown. So without any further ado, I'd love for Hamid Shirdel to come on so that he can tell a little bit more about his story. And all right. Hamid John, oh wait, actually, sorry, hold on one second. Sergeant, sit tight. I apologize for that skipping of over, but here comes Hamid Shirdel from Kababi Cafe. I appreciate everyone's patience and like little lags in the Wi-Fi. It says joining, so we should be seeing him join any moment. And there he is in 3, 2, 1, all the way from about 15 miles up from Miami here. Hamid, can you hear me, my friend? The audio is connecting. This is what you call a technical difficulty. So just sit right there. Hamid, can you hear me? All right. So I think Hamid is having some audio or video issues right now. So I'm going to try one more time. Hamid, can you hear me? Okay. Well, how about this? I'm going to bring in one of our uniters, Sareh, and I'm going to, if Sareh is ready. Sareh, are you ready? Sure. Sareh, and if Sareh is ready. Sareh?
Yes, Iman.
Hi, can you get on video?
Oh yeah, sure. I thought you were waiting for Hamid. Sorry, I'm coming on now.
No, for some reason, Hamid is having some video connection. He's not able to come through, so I'm not able to patch him in. But you're on air right now, by the way, FYI, Sareh.
Okay, I'm coming on. It's slow a bit, but it's coming.
Well, in the meantime, while you're connecting video-wise, since we can hear you. Oh, there she is. How are you?
I'm well. How are you? Congratulations on this amazing episode. It's just phenomenal to see it come to life. I know how hard you've worked, Iman. You give credit to everybody, but I have to give you some of this credit. You are amazing.
No.
I texted you this morning, Pahlavan. You are the true hero, like a champion. You make it happen, Iman. Your vision is there, and then you have the passion to follow.
Thank you. Passion and then an amazing team to make it all happen. But I appreciate the kind words. It was very nice to get a wake-up text that says Pahlavan. That's always a nice thing. So I do appreciate coming from a Shirzan. That was amazing. So ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know Sareh Kazemi, she, from day one that we started this effort of uniting the South Florida community, Sareh was there from the first Zoom, I feel like, if not the first and the second one. And I can unequivocally tell you that if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't have been able to do everything we've been doing in the last 4 months. Her passion for Iran and her passion for bringing the South Florida community together has been second to none. And even like this past Monday, while I was busy doing this production, she and one of our other uniters and producers, Mona Hayri, they were committed to putting on a protest, a demonstration on Monday at Lincoln Road. So one, Sareh, tell us about you wanting to do something this Monday on short notice because of what was happening, and then what you have in the works as far as Unite and Conquer events coming up in the near future.
Sure, Iman, as you said regarding your producers team, it's the same goes for us at the local event planning team. We have a team of uniters that literally in last year were meeting almost daily to be able to, at the height of everything, make sure that we in Miami stood in solidarity with the people of Iran. And we certainly didn't want that momentum to stop in 2023. As you and everyone on knows, we started strong thanks to Nikki and our mural team with a reveal of a mural of Mahsa Amini in the Midtown Wynwood area that still is there to this day for anyone who'd like to enjoy it. So I'd be remiss if I didn't bring that up here. It was a strong start setting our intentions of bringing awareness to the atrocities in Iran on January 1st, New Year's Day. What better way to bring in the new year than to have that? And so I encourage anyone who hasn't been there to visit. You'll find the address on any one of our Instagram pages, or you can reach out to me and I'll give you that directly, to go there and visit and see, because it's not easy to get one of those walls, and we were able to do that, and it is there for the community to enjoy and perhaps have a mindful moment at. So please do take advantage of that. And as Iman said, you know, from a team, we met and we spoke and we felt compelled to stand in unity with the Strasbourg rally taking place in France on Monday. And it felt only right, even with short notice, to be able to do whatever we could, whatever was in our power. As you know, we don't have an embassy here in Miami, but we do have a large population of an international group of individuals that we can share more information about in Iran. And so everything that everyone does matters. It's not just about, any one particular action, but even bringing awareness to a group of individuals in any area is important. And so a group of us went down to Lincoln Road and had a silent demonstration there with our signs, specifically focused on the EU parliamentary discussions regarding adding IRGC to the terrorist list and identifying specific, targets for sanctions, namely Khamenei and many others that have just gone under, overdue in terms of action against these individuals. So we're happy to have stood in solidarity and in alignment with the momentum globally around that discussion. And as you said, Iman, we don't want to stop there. As we speak right now, we're in the process of securing permits for additional rallies. We want to pick back up on the continuity of those, potentially every other week, maybe on some Saturdays, and we have some tentatively planned coming up that we'll be sharing in the very near future. In addition to rallies, we did something a little bit different this year. We set up several different groups, one being called a call to action group, where in addition to awareness, we're actually putting some efforts towards meaningful action. So if some of you recall, we at our rallies had action tables run by one of our uniters, Nusha Lajavardi, and a group of individuals where we identified specific petitions and made QR codes available for rally attendees. But we want to keep that momentum and evolve it and find ways in which even in Miami, we can find ways to engage with our politicians and legislators, or make sure that our voice is heard in DC, and that we have a say in what goes on there to the extent that's within our power. So we have a call to action group. We also have several other chats that are underway to try and come up with other creative initiatives that we can bring awareness. So whether that be a march or a bike rally or a run, or any other creative ideas that the team has been ideating on. So we look forward to continued programming. I thank Mona, who is my co-lead in the local events planning, and the group of individuals that week in, week out continue to join us on calls and support our mission to keep Miami and Fort Lauderdale, the South Florida area, on the map when it comes to standing in solidarity with the people of Iran and elevating their voices when they can't do so themselves. So I hope that's helpful, Iman Jan. Thanks for giving me a minute to talk a bit about it.
Yeah, no, of course it's helpful. Of course it's helpful, because here's the thing: if I didn't have individuals like you and Mona and the team that's helping to make this stuff happen, then we would have had to pick and choose. Like, should we just do countdown or do some stuff in local? And we know how important it is with the community coming together. I mean, so many great friendships and relationships have been built in the last 4 months that are going to last us a whole lifetime, And so I'm glad that you're able to continue to carry the torch and do as much live, or at least leading it. And then, of course, the rest of the team will continue to huddle around you, and we'll continue to bring people together here in South Florida, thanks to people like yourself and Mona and the rest of the gang. So thank you. And so all you got to do is follow at Let's Unite and Conquer on Instagram. We're always going to post any updated or new events that we have in person that people like Sareh are helping make happen. So appreciate you, Sareh John. Much love.
Thank you,
Azadi. All right. Excellent. Thank you so much for giving that update. I'm going to try to bring Hamid John back on. Hopefully the video issue has been solved. We're going to find out in just a few seconds. Going to give it about 3 seconds. I'm crossing my fingers that he's able to connect. Audio is connected. Hamidjan, can you hear us?
Yes, I hear it.
Are you able to get the video going?
Yes, the video is on. Which video are you talking about?
Your video is actually turned off. So if you could turn on your camera, we can see you.
Turn on the camera. Let me see.
So while Hamidjan is finding the camera.
Oh, I see that now. There you go.
Oh, there you go, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, good. How you doing?
I'm glad you were able to reconnect. I was worried that you weren't going to be able to make it. Very good. Well, thanks for making time. and once again, thank you so much for being one of the sponsors of this program. You know, this what we're doing here requires a true community huddle up, and you've been doing that, and you've been doing community huddle up for quite a long time. So for those who don't know Hamid Shirdel, and they don't know about Kababi Cafe, and they don't know about the original Kulak, can you just give a little brief 2-minute background about yourself?
Yes. Well, we've been in South Florida almost 30 years, and I started with a couple of with my brother and younger brother and a friend of mine. We started the first Kulak, which was a little bit down the street, and ever since I was involved with the community, with different events, and I've seen so many people come and go, but the South Florida community started growing larger.
Is that an issue on Hamid John's? I feel like it's is it just me, or did he get cut off? Oh, Hamid John, I'm so sorry that we're not able to connect right now. I'm going to give it a couple more seconds.
In my lifetime, I've seen the first revolution.
Hamid John, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear.
I think you're in a weak. Are you in a weak internet spot? Unfortunately, like most of what you were saying, we just got choppy right now.
Oh, it's coming choppy. Let's see.
Actually, yeah.
I mean,
actually,
that's should be a better one.
Okay, I can hear you now. We're good. So
Okay.
So 30 years ago you came and you were saying just make sure you center your camera, please. So that the community grew, and that's kind of where it got disconnected.
Right. So basically, like I said, it's been a tremendous path to today, touching so many people's life, and so many people touch my life up to now. So I kind of got a big family of South Floridian that like I've seen people grow. I've seen teenagers became men, became father, and so it's been blessed. It's been blessed. And it'd be nice if you could see the second part, which is freedom of Iran. And then ever since this thing started, we kind of, through our social media, we try to use a path to kind of advertise and promote what's going on in Iran with the people that are on the streets. And so it's been.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on it. Sorry to cut you off, but you touched on it right now. I really admire the fact that you use the Kababi platform to continue to be the voice of Iranians. A lot of people, they don't want to mix business and politics, but it seems like you didn't care about that. So kind of tell me, like, what was going on through your head when you decided to fully use the Kababi Instagram to talk about Iran?
Well, I did had a lot of people that they basically, I had phone calls that people were saying to me, well, what are you doing? You should be just stick to the restaurant business and shouldn't get involved in these things. We have canceled our Halloween party, and we had canceled our Shabi Yalda. We had canceled the New Year party. And these all goes back to I just didn't feel right. And it was like a personal issue. Plus, I couldn't do that. I couldn't feel good to throw out a party to celebrate something that I think that you could all wait and celebrate together on the day that we have free Iran. So, I mean, that I didn't care really. I didn't care if the business not going to be here tomorrow. I didn't care about that. It was just something that it had to be done. It had to be done, and we used it.
Well, tell me, like, what do you think is the reason why you didn't care, and why, like, you didn't care about people's opinion, and why it was so important for you to just continue to be as loud as you possibly can. What is it inside of Hamid Shirdel that has him fighting like a true Shir?
Right, because I want humanity, you cannot put a price on it. And I think that humanity is what I always fought for, being fair, being free, not to be pushed around by other people or other ideas. And that's why I did this, because to me, my country, Iran, it deserves much better than what it's getting right now, or what it has been getting for the last 40 years. I mean, in this business, I met so many people, so many successful people that they could be so much helped to Iran than what they're doing for in this land. So I will say that we are smart people, and we are very receiving. And I think that by the time change comes to Iran, all these people that are here, they would benefit for the country, and also vice versa. I mean, it's I think unity and humanity and freedom is what I always fought for.
So, speaking of unity, how important is it for you to see Iranians outside of Iran truly unify? And have you been seeing it? Do you wish it was more, or do you think that this is great and it's going places? What's your opinion about the current unifying?
Yeah, like I've said, in the business, we see all kind of people come in. I've had people that they're saying like, hey, nothing gonna change, nothing gonna happen, and there are people that are really sincere, and they really think it's gonna happen, something's gonna change, and that's why it's been the largest ever that we've seen this happen. So I've seen the shift, though. I've seen the shift. As a matter of fact, last night we had a customer that just came from Iran. It just landed 2 weeks ago, and she was saying that the mood on the street, everything is so different in Iran right now. So I'm hopeful, and I think that the younger generation now, they're not going to stand for anything less than what they deserve.
Hamidjan, I would love to be able to talk to you much more, but just because we lost a couple minutes earlier, I have to continue. But I want to say, I'm very grateful that there's somebody like you in a place like South Florida where there's not 100,000s of Iranians, and you've been very steadfast in keeping an establishment that becomes a second home for people. We know how like a local restaurant can become a second home for people, is that when they don't want to have home cooking at home, or they can't for whatever reason, they can get the next best thing. And that's the type of community that you've built over there. I myself need to come even more to you. It's been a while since I've come there, but I just, as an Iranian, I always admire hardworking entrepreneurs, business owners, and especially restaurateurs. My parents had a restaurant, and I had to work there when I was 14, 15, 16, and I saw how much it took out of them, but it was that love of people that makes people want to be in the restaurant business. So God bless you for the love that you bring to people through the food that you create, through the restaurant that you have. And I hope that we have a nice chili kebab in Iran together one day very soon.
Yes, definitely.
Okay,
thank you very much.
به امید آزادی. And make sure to follow Hamid on the Instagram page that we have listed. Kababi Cafe. It's not in Fort Lauderdale, is it? What exact city is it?
It's in Sunrise,
It's
Florida.
in Sunrise. All right. Well,
yes.
I definitely look forward to coming and saying hello and and enjoying your delicious food and your hospitality. Thank you so much. به امید آزادی.
Definitely.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we've reached the almost end of the program. There's still something else that we, of course, are going to share, and that is a tribute to those that we've lost. Before I get to that video, which I hope that you stick around, because it's important that you see these faces. It's important you see these names of each of the individuals that we've lost that we know about. There's many that we don't know about, but this video that was created by the diaspora of Iran, which I'm very grateful for them giving permission for us to share this video. They've did a beautiful job honoring these individuals. I do want to just give a thank you. Give me 1 second real quick. I want to give a thank you to Mahsa Townsend for joining us earlier today and providing us with all the insight that she did. To, of course, our sponsor, Hamid Shirdel from Kababi Cafe, Paris Mansouri to giving us the news and events, Sareh Kazemi, who gave us update about what United Conquer is doing on the ground in South Florida, Dr. Shiva Jahani for the mindful moment, and my mom, Mahin, for the Persian poetry moment. Before we close out and play this video, you know, what we've done here at the United Conquer team with Countdown is hopefully create something that will make an impact. The impact could be a multi-prong. It could be awareness, it could be unity, it could be camaraderie, it could be opening doors to other opportunities. If you see that, if you're experiencing that, if you see value in this, please know that the only way that this will continue is through community support. So although I hate to talk about the financials aspect of it, at the end of the day, the production of something like this, it takes time, it takes money. And so for it to be sustainable, for us to do it every week, and perhaps even do it more than once a week, flat out, it just needs the support of the community. If you're in a position to do so, either as a compatriot, which is making a contribution, you can do so by Zelling, info@letsuniteandconquer.com. You can Venmo it at Unite and Conquer. There's also a link that's been shared in the chat, if I'm not mistaken. You can click on it and you can find out more about Countdown, and you can see how we have multiple sponsorship package options. The point is that it needs support. That's all. I mean, so if you enjoy it, please know, spread the word next time. Make sure more people view it. Click the subscribe button, click the like button. When this video becomes a standalone video, share it with your friends and family, and hopefully you all like it. There's going to be little snackable clips that are going to come about it. And I'm also happy to share with you that officially Unite and Conquer is a nonprofit corporation. And so that hopefully will give additional comfort to those of you that are interested in supporting. And yeah, so without any further ado, on behalf of the entire production team that worked so hard to be a part of this, from my favorite Habibi Pierre Musa to Brandon Pennick all the way in DC, to Mona Hayri, to Shamina Ekhani, to Elham Lakchi, to Nadir Ramzi, to Kaveh Reza, to Army, who's over here helping out too, and Paris Mansouri. There's a lot of individuals that have been making it happen. Shiva Sabir from DC, and also Sareh has been helping out. Huschmand, Huschmand. So anyways, the point is there's a lot of people making this happen. That's why I'm telling you that if you enjoy it, please support it, because we want to continue doing this. I have no doubt that when I go upstairs and we hang out with the production crew, they're hoping that we get to do this more and more and more. So it's all up to you. If you want it, you got to come and support it. Let's come together and unite and conquer. Without any further ado, here's the video tribute to honor those that we've lost. Thank you again to @Diaspora of Iran for giving us a permission. We hope to see you next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. And I'm sorry, it's @Diaspora for Iran. Sorry. But yeah, next Wednesday, we're back here again, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Please tell your friends, tell your amis all over the world that we're going to be back at it. Be omide Azadi.